People are awesome. Being an adrenaline junkie or daredevils comes with plenty of danger. You carry a risk of broken bones and other such injuries, while some challenges have a very good chance to kill you. To be part of this lifestyle, you have to accept these risks and accept that each stunt you do could be your last one. And unfortunately for some people, this day eventually came. Whether being fired into the air by his own human cannonball, jumping from a large canyon, or staying under the water for 9 minutes, here are 10 spectacular stories of people who defied death and failed. Number 10. Orvar Arnarson and Andremar Pordarsen. The small town of Zephyrhills, Florida, about 30 miles northeast of Tampa, is known internationally for two things: Zephyrhills Water Company and skydiving. Residents in the community can enjoy amazing spectacles of parachutes opening high overhead while enjoying a backyard barbecue. But this story has no happy ending. Orvar Arnarson, 41, was an Icelandic skydiving instructor with over 1,000 jumps under his belt, who was part of an annual Icelandic skydiving excursion to Florida, along with his student Andremar Pordarsen. He was only 25 and had only jumped 8 times himself. On March 23, 2013, instructor and student jumped separately, not in tandem, after successfully completing 2 jumps earlier that day with 20 other people. It was the last jump the men would ever make, as Pordarsen never pulled his release cord and his instructor died trying to position himself close enough to open it for him as the two plunged ever closer to the ground. Skydiving instructor Arnarson was hailed a hero after investigators recovered his helmet video, showing him fighting until the end to maneuver closer in strong winds as time ran out. Both men wore automatically deployed backup chutes that did deploy, but not in time to inflate. Number 9. Kyle Lee Stalking. Canyon rope swinging, one of the world's most insane practices in which a person swings from a rope attached to the arch of a large canyon, has gained huge popularity in the last years. Numerous videos surf the net showing daredevils attempting to better their online competitors. In March 2013, it was the turn of 22-year-old Kyle Lee Stalking, who wanted to attempt his own rope swing at the Corona Arch in Moab, Utah. Stalking was clipped into a waist harness surrounded by friends and onlookers. But as he jumped, it was quickly clear that something was wrong. Instead of swinging back and forth through the arch, he slammed straight into the floor of the canyon, dying instantly. The group had carelessly miscalculated how much rope would be needed for a successful swing. The area is famous for what is known as the world's biggest rope swing, and this was the first such incident to happen at the location. Number 8. Matt Cranch. Scott May's Daredevil stunt show had been touring the UK since 1991, performing dangerous stunts to raise money for local charities. In 2011, the group were performing at the Kent County Showground when it came the turn of stuntman Matt Cranch, 24, who had joined the team about 4 weeks before and had performed the showpiece 5 times before his death. At that moment, he was ready for his human cannonball act. The performance involved the boy being placed into a hydraulic propulsion system, a large tube-like contraption mounted on the back of a truck. After signaling that everything was okay and that he was ready, Cranch would be fired into the air, and then he had to turn around and land on a carefully placed safety net. However, the safety net was not properly set this time, leaving him plummeting towards the ground. He landed, breaking his neck and suffering life-threatening head injuries. He later died in hospital. Nowadays, Scott May's show continues to perform around the UK despite the accident. Number 7. Audrey Mester. Free diving, where a diver does not use oxygen tanks or scuba gear, might not be what immediately comes to mind when you think of daredevils, but it is an incredibly dangerous sport, with the potential to be as disastrous as anything performed in the sky. In 2006, French freediver Audrey Mester was determined to break the world record, held by her husband, by diving 561 feet into the depths of the ocean. She was attached to a 200-pound weight mounted on a steel cable to enable her to get to the target depth. Miraculously, Mester made the dive, but on the way back up, she lost consciousness at a depth of almost 300 feet. Her team attempted to lift her from the water but encountered numerous problems with the equipment they were using. Cables appeared to have become damaged in training, while the lift bag intended to bring her back up was either inadequately inflated or had leaked. In total, Mester's dive took 9 minutes, during which she had no access to oxygen. Consequently, she could not be revived and died at the scene. A documentary titled No Limits details Mester's attempt at the record. Number 6. Richard Guzman. In the early 1970s, tightrope walker Richard Guzman performed with the world's famous flying Walindas. The night when he would die, the performance was taking place in front of a crowd of 6,000 people at the open-air Wheeling Island Stadium in West Virginia. Headliner and Guzman's father-in-law Carl Walinda was about to finish his usual tightrope trick, having successfully navigated the treacherous journey. As he got towards the end of the rope, Guzman climbed a support and reached out to take Carl's balancing pole, allowing him to descend steadily. As Guzman reached out to take the pole, he apparently touched a live electrical wire while he fell 60 feet to the ground. He landed on a policeman who was attempting to catch him. Despite being tended to almost immediately, he later died from his injuries. It was the second time that Mr. Walinda had watched a member of his family die in the aerial act. 2 members of the troupe, including his nephew Dieter Shep, were killed in Detroit in 1962, when their 7-man pyramid collapsed. Mario Walinda, Mr. Walinda's adopted son, was permanently paralyzed in that accident. Number 5. Todd Green. Wing walking is a sport in which people attempt to climb onto the wings of a biplane and walk on them. The daredevils are usually attached to the plane using a support structure, which, while not making the experience completely risk-free, does add some element of safety. Others, however, prefer to do it without the safety equipment. Todd Green was one of these, even adding a helicopter into the mix. At the 2011 Selfridge Air Show in Michigan, Green attempted to climb out of the passenger seat of a biplane and grab onto the bottom of the helicopter, which would whisk him away to safety. During the performance, Todd reached out to the helicopter but failed to grab hold, slipping off the wing of the plane. Spectators initially thought it was part of the act, not realizing that Green had fallen to his death. Number 4. Solyndranath Roy. Indian daredevil Solyndranath Roy was known for his freakishly strong hair, which he used to pull buses, trucks, and even small trains. In 2013, Roy announced he would attempt to cross a river while suspended from a zip wire attached to his ponytail. The stunt, watched by hundreds of onlookers, was designed to outdo his own world record, held since 2011, by traveling 590 feet. After covering approximately 300 feet, Roy became stuck and began shouting for help. Despite the known danger involved in the stunt, it took over 45 minutes for the emergency services to arrive. By the time they managed to get to Roy, he was motionless. Rushed to the hospital, it was discovered that Roy had died from a massive heart attack while suspended from the wire. He had promised his worried wife that the performance would be his last. Number 3. Pavel Kashin. When a parkour daredevil loses his balance on top of a tall building and has a brush with death, it's a terrifying moment. When it happened to Pavel Kashin, it was fatal. Pavel Kashin was one of the well-known parkour artists or freerunners in St. Petersburg. He was named one of the best freerunners in the world, known for his breakthrough stunts. There are numerous videos documenting his riskiest and most impressive moves. On the day Kashin died in July 2013, he was standing on a 3-foot-wide ledge on the top of an apartment building. The Russian daredevil was attempting to do a backflip when he fell nearly 200 feet to his death. Witnesses told the police that he had lost his footing on the landing, causing him to plummet straight down onto the pavement below. A group called Free Running Sweden took to Facebook the day after Pavel Kashin's death, saying, "The whole parkour world and FRS sends our thoughts and respect to his family and friends. Rest in peace, Pavel." Kashin's friends and fellow parkour enthusiasts called the move a brave jump. They uploaded the photo taken of his final stunt, which was then heavily circulated around the internet. His parents approved of the image being uploaded. In addition to paying tribute to their son, they believed it could serve as a warning to others who partook in parkour-type activities. Number 2. Jane Wicker. And here we have another high lover. Jane Wicker was a true wing walker. She was so passionate about her calling that she even planned to get married to her fiancé on the wings of a plane. Unfortunately, her plans would never be brought to fruition. On July 22, 2013, at the Vectrine Air Show in Ohio, Wicker took to the skies in front of an eager crowd with her pilot Charlie Schwenker. It would be her last performance. Wicker's trick involved climbing onto the wings and walking, with no safety harness or parachute. However, the plane began moving erratically in the middle of the performance, and almost immediately entered a barrel roll towards the Earth. Schwenker apparently steered the aircraft away from onlookers. The plane hit the ground at tremendous speed, bursting into flames. Both Wicker and Schwenker were killed immediately. Number 1. Sean Cunningham. The Red Arrows are the aerobatic team of the British Royal Air Force, a group of highly skilled pilots who perform daring aerial maneuvers in their trademark Scarlet planes. They have entertained the public at air shows and special events around the world. From 1988 to 2011, there wasn't a single fatality in the group, a remarkable accolade. Yet in 2011, 2 pilots died within months of each other. The first was Lieutenant John Egging, who is thought to have lost consciousness due to G-forces before spiraling towards the ground. The second was Sean Cunningham, whose death took place under much stranger circumstances. Cunningham was not yet in the air when his accident occurred. He was ready for takeoff in his Hawk T-1 on the runway at RAF Scrampton, Lancashire, when his ejector seat activated, firing him over 200 feet into the air. In a harsh twist of fate, Cunningham's parachute failed to open, resulting in him plummeting to his death. An inquest into why the ejector seat was activated and why the parachute didn't open found no manufacturer fault. One more time, the human race is incredible. We enjoy carrying out any type of risk, from swinging from a rope attached to the arch of a large canyon to being launched into the air through a propulsion system and die while trying. But there are many other things that could go wrong, such as, for example, scientific experiments. Would you like to know them? Just click on this video.